Okay, guys, so following the passage of Hurricane Ian, I've been getting a lot of questions. Persons want to know, what do I think the impact of Hurricane Ian will be on the Southwest Florida real estate market? So today, that is a question that I'll be answering in this episode. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this video. Let's start off by talking about Lee County. Now, in Lee County, as you all know, there was quite a lot of damage, extensive damage in some areas. So, let's look at the figures. Let's look at exactly what happened to the housing supply and all the buildings that were affected by Ian. Now, according to the WGCU website, there were 5,024 residences in Lee County that were completely destroyed by Hurricane Ian. 5,024 residences were completely destroyed by Hurricane Ian. Now, apart from that, you had 13,186 residential residences that were majorly damaged. They had major damage from Hurricane Ian. And apart from that, an additional 13,986 properties had minor damage. There were other properties, about 16,000, just a little bit over 16,000, that were also affected, but the damage was not significant. So in total, over 48,300 properties were impacted by Hurricane Ian. Now, when you think about housing and the real estate market, you have to think about supply and demand. Now, we're talking about over 48,000 residential properties that were impacted by Hurricane Ian. Now, that has put a huge dent in the supply of houses that are available in the Lee County in Southwest Florida. And when it comes to real estate and prices and everything concerning real estate, you really have to look at the balance between supply and demand, because for the most part, that is what is going to affect prices. Now, because there has been such a huge dent in the supply of houses that was already a little bit short, that is going to impact prices, in that we expect that prices will go up in the short run, because you're going to have many more persons competing for fewer housing opportunities, right? Some persons will inevitably move away, move out of state, and some persons will not come back to the area. But we believe, for the most part, that most persons will still seek to find housing in Southwest Florida, because most persons have their jobs here, they have their families, their whole entire lives are built here, and so it's going to be very difficult for persons to just get up and move out. So we believe, for the most part, persons are going to be staying in Southwest Florida, and they're going to be looking for somewhere to live. And so the demand is going to increase for these properties that are left in Southwest Florida. And it is going to take a while for the houses that have been destroyed, for those to be replaced. And the ones that have major damage, it is going to take some time as well for those to be repaired. So in the short term, we do expect that prices will go up, because the supply has been significantly impacted by Hurricane Ian. Now, when it comes on to commercial property, there also was some damage, and that is also going to have an impact on the real estate market. Firstly, there are persons who lost their jobs simply because the buildings that they worked in were destroyed. They were impacted, so they don't have a workplace to report to. So persons lost their jobs. That is going to impact their spending ability. They're not going to be able, some persons are not going to be able to buy a house right away. So those persons may have to look to rent, and so the rental demand is going to also increase, and so that is also going to impact rental rates. Okay, so rental rates are also expected to go up in the short term. So overall, in Lee County, we do expect that prices will go up. Apart from that, we expect that interest rates will continue to rise as the government tackles the high inflation situation. Now, let's look at Collier County. Now, like Lee County, Collier County also experienced significant damage from Hurricane Ian. And let's look at the figures. There was over $2.2 billion worth of damage to properties in Collier County. Now, of that 2.2 billion, 1.9 billion was damage to residential properties, and the remaining $492 million was to commercial properties. Now let's talk about that. Let's break that down in terms of the number of buildings that were impacted. Now, according to Fox 4 News, so 33 buildings were completely destroyed, 2,553 buildings had major damage, and 1,339 buildings had minor damage. Again, extensive damage in the Collier County. And just like the Lee County, the expectation is that because there has been a dent in the supply, that is going to push prices up in the short run. Now, the opportunities in this are that, well, investors who are looking for properties to fix up and to flip and resell at a later date, they are going to have some more properties that will be available because the properties that were damaged, the owners may be looking to sell those, to salvage whatever they can from what is left of their property. So investors will have an opportunity to buy some of those houses, flip them, and resell at a later date. Also, there are going to be more rental opportunities as well, because these are, for investors who do rentals, because there are persons who are not going to want to buy right away. Persons are going to be looking for temporary housing. And so if you have property that you're looking to rent, there may be some opportunities there. But generally speaking, it's going to be more difficult to buy properties in Southwest Florida because the prices are expected to increase. Those are my thoughts on how Hurricane Ian will impact the real estate market in Southwest Florida in the short term. If you're from Southwest Florida and you have been impacted by Hurricane Ian, let me know in the comments section how you plan to rebuild. Do you plan to move out of Southwest Florida, or will you be seeking to rebuild right here in Southwest Florida? I want to hear from you. Again, guys, my name is Keesha Metcalfe from MVP Realty. Stay safe until next week.